Hello, and welcome back to Nerds and Stuff. My name is Martin Baker, your host and game master for this, a one-shot in the system, Bluebeard's Bride. Before we get back into our game, I'm going to have my players introduce themselves and their sister.
My name is Abby Newell, and I will be playing the Animus.
My name is Jenny Ottaway, and I will be playing the Mother.
My name is Tiffini Briscoe, and I am playing the Virgin.
Just as a warning, before we begin our official exploration of the manor, I do have to say that this game will feature some pretty traumatic and horrific moments. We will all be playing with X cards, which is highly recommended for this game. An X card represents whenever something happens to where you as a player is extremely uncomfortable and kind of worried that because of what's happening in the story, you will not be able to have fun enjoying the game. We will reference the X card, we will stop, regroup, go back, and change whatever horrific thing is happening into something new and equally terrifying. So this game will deal with subjects that are very uncomfortable. This is a feminine horror game, so it will deal with violence, sexuality, motherhood, and other feminine issues. This is my first time running it. This is our first time playing it. Mistakes are likely to be made. I apologize in advance. But I am thoroughly excited to bring this game to the table. Magpie makes some amazing games, and I've been thoroughly excited and terrified to run this for my friends and for you on this channel. So just consider this a warning that we will be venturing into some very dark and terrifying waters, and just a quick moment to thank each and every one of you guys for going with me on this crazy adventure. So consider that your warning, otherwise we will get back to it. So the ring is a mechanic in this game that is basically given the aspect or the sister who is in charge of the bride's actions. The ring will be given to Animus first, and this is usually given based off the present that Bluebeard liked the most. So the Animus will begin, and you have control of the bride. You're standing in this grand entryway. You have a ring of keys in your hand, you're in your wedding dress, you're tired, you're terrified, you're exhausted. What do you do?
I'm going to try to go up the stairs and find a room that would resemble a bedroom for me
to... Yeah. So there are, your bags have been set down earlier in the day, and they were taken away by servants. You have no idea where they went. So there is a grand staircase revealing itself before you, leading up into a kind of darker hallway. As you're walking up the stairs, you're looking at all these doors. Each door is unique in its own countenance, very much like the keychain that you're holding, the ring of keys in your hand. As you look through the ring of keys, what key draws your attention the most? Describe it for me.
There's a normal-sized key. Okay. Nothing weird about it except for the top of the key is, I don't know, like, not embroidered, but fur.
Okay, deal. So it's a fur, it's like an animal fur, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you're walking down the hallway trying to get a sense of where you're at, you definitely come upon a door that has a bear's head mounted on it as well as claws. And at first you're like, you kind of catch it and it startles you almost. You know that Bluebeard is a hunter. Usually these trophies are hidden away. Sure enough, as you look at the key, you can tell now that it's bear's fur. As you stick the key into the lock, it fits perfectly. Do you enter the room?
Yes, because I think that he would put his trophy on his room.
Deal. So as you slide the key into the lock, you twist it open, the door opens, you enter, and the door shuts behind. So I am using the Book of Rooms. You'll see me awkwardly stare at this thing for a little while, trying to figure out a great room to spawn up. There it is. We will be entering the trophy room. So as you press into the room, you notice that the trophy room has a fire lit in the hearth. It is dark orange light allows you to see the horrifying spectacle of the place. The air is hot, and you start sweating profusely as your eyes go from severed animal head to severed animal head, all of them ghoulishly preserved in their last moments of life. The strong odors of chemicals used for taxidermy assault your senses, and you feel almost dizzy. A carpet made out of bear's skin makes you take a step back, only to collide with a raven embalmed in mid-flight that tumbles to the ground, but miraculously survives the fall of the impact. A number of arrow ends stuck on a massive furry shape. All these things catch your attention. So, in this game, there are 3 aspects of the same person. The one with the ring is truly in control of the bride. However, they are all able to discuss, make minor actions, and stuff like that. So, what do you guys think of this room? How does it catch you?
Can we investigate more than one object, or is it...
Absolutely. What happens when you investigate an object, which is part of their moves, when you investigate an object, you will ask one question, I will answer that question, and then you can ask your follow-up question. Because I believe it gives you 2 questions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll answer one question at a time to kind of allow it room to breathe.
Okay. I would like to investigate, was it a raven or a crow?
There was a raven embalmed in mid-flight.
I'd like to investigate that, and I want to know, why did Bluebeard keep this item?
Deal. So as you pick it up and put it back on the table that you had accidentally knocked it off, you look at it, and its eyes are deep and dark, and you almost see your eyes reflected in it. Your big, open, brown eyes as you peer into it, and it almost reminds it of yourself. It's frozen in time in this act of freedom. It's flight. Unfortunately now, it's frozen, almost trapped as a cruel gesture. You look at this thing and you can tell that your husband appreciates the creature. Its dark and countering is kind of ominous look about it, right? Ravens are fairly terrifying, and there's something about it that it looks trapped in an act of freedom, and you can't tell if the freedom is why he kept it, or the mockery that it's now trapped that way, stuck in a room.
Oh boy.
Your next question.
What memories does this item hold?
As you're looking deep into its eyes, you hear a soft weeping. And as you turn around and look, there is no one else in the room, at least that you didn't see right away. But there is a coat rack with a large fur coat hanging on it. And almost seemingly, the coat lifts itself off the rack and turns and faces you. And it's a woman, naked, wearing only this fur coat. She's about your age, fairly young. She acknowledges your presence. She kind of walks a circle, almost the outskirts of the room, far away from you. She goes, He always loved that raven. The subconscious say, trying to exhale.
She's trying so hard to exhale.
What do you do?
Oh.
You can see that her frame is very beautiful by objective standards. She is a very gorgeous woman. As you look at her, you feel your cheeks flush. You're looking at a woman who's just wearing a coat, and she's not really careful about what's being shown. under that coat. She kind of walks by and she caresses things as she turns. She gently runs her hands along an elk's head, looking terrified, frozen in time.
You know I'm close to that shiver from fear, Martin. You know I'm there. Okay.
So she says, he loved that raven. Who are you?
I am his wife. And who are you?
Of no regard. But why are you so interested? What are you doing here?
I'm exploring my own home.
Well, we're all trapped here, you know. And now you are too. She comes over and rips the raven off the stand and looks at it. Pretty, don't you think?
Who is we?
Me? You? This raven here? Don't you feel it? The crushing. Soon, he will take what he wants. Cast everything else aside. You guys are welcome to... You can even talk as the bride as well, like just for clarification on the ring moves and stuff like that. You're not restricted to anything like that. You can talk amongst each other even as internal dialogue.
Okay.
And in fact, I highly encourage it.
Like,
Yeah, instead of just poor Abby here melting.
Animus, how are we trapped? He gave us the go-ahead to see the whole mansion. He never told us that we couldn't leave the house. How are we trapped?
like, we can't do certain things here.
Go in one room. I think that's very little to ask.
Did you see that bird?
As you like look over, you see her just examining it.
I don't love all the heads and things, but it's not what I'm into. It's his thing. I don't know what you're so worried about.
He's a hunter. It's what hunters do. It's fine.
She starts petting the raven.
Are we just not going
And
to talk about who this woman is?
Tears start to well and run down her face.
I should go do something.
I kind of want to pass the ring to you, since you think this is just all chill and fine.
Excuse me, are you a servant here?
I serve no one. And she kind of doubles forward, almost lurching with pain. And she reaches down and touches her stomach. And she drops the raven down to the ground. And she starts to react in pain to her stomach.
Yeah, I'm gonna run over and try to help her to a chair.
Okay. So as you kind of reach over, you walk her over and sit her down. There's not like a great chair in here. There is a sort of chair that looks almost like a throne. Mm-hmm. I mean, very much what a hunter... Are you passing the ring?
Yeah, I thought that's what was happening.
She can take action.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
As
She
the
just
ring
can't
bearer,
do these ones.
as
Right.
the ring bearer, also you're the one that picks what the key looks like. The ring bearer establishes the truth of the room, and they do the ring moves. So she can absolutely.
I'm doing a care for someone.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, and that's a move that anyone can do. So now that we're using care for someone for the first time, let's go ahead and read through it and see what happens.
So it says, when you care for someone, a servant or horror, you ease their suffering and bridle their torment.
Deal.
They may demand a demonstration of your sincerity.
Yep. So you walk her over and sit her in this very comfy. It's like red velvet running up the cushions. It's got wood that's handfully, mastercraftly kind of carved. Mm-hmm. And you sit her down. And in the time that you walked her over to this chair and sat her down, her stomach has swelled, almost as though she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. And she just clutches it, giving you a look through her teary eyes that something's wrong.
Are you okay? How can we help you? me? How can I help you? It's gonna take a minute to get used to.
There is no helping. And you see things start to move in her stomach. You see sharp edges digging through the skin. You see pointed triangles cutting and and I need to stand. Will you help me stand?
We help her. Yeah.
Yeah.
She stands. And as you're looking into her eyes, you hear something heavy and wet fall to the ground. And you almost don't know how to react. And then you hear another. What do you do?
I look to see what's falling to the ground.
Yeah.
You see tiny balls of black feathers covered in blood as they start to stand and rise and move their wings out. They start to walk and squawk, baby ravens dropping from her. They gain flight and they just start flying into the walls, breaking their necks, falling.
Is there a window nearby?
There is.
I want to go open the window.
Little hellbirds all over the place, I guess.
So by the time you cross to the window, probably about a dozen of these birds have flown to the walls and cracked their necks.
Gross.
And she collapses, crying, blood running down her legs. What do? You open the windows, but there is nothing alive.
I don't even know how to help this situation.
This is what happens.
Happens to what? What?
You'll
Why
find
did
out
this
soon
happen?
enough. It will happen to you.
You die in childbirth? I don't...
She kind of starts crawling around. She crawls to the first raven and scoops it up and holds it close to her.
Wait. Why are you giving birth to birds?
They're my children. As you look down, you feel a sharp pain in your stomach.
No.
I think I want to propose a truce and leave.
Okay.
I'm with you on the dying in childbirth thing. And if you had so many brides that none of them had funerals, like, did she... It's not a did she, you can't answer, it's proposing a truth. I think that she could not give birth to a child without it being stillborn, and eventually died trying because he wanted her to have a child.
Okay. So this is a ring move. It's also an exit move, and this is the first time that we are proposing a truth of the room. So we're going to open the book and just go through that. And as this is the first time we are doing this, page 42. Okay. In proposing a truth, are you taking? So you detail what you think happened in the room, to whom, and why. Next, describe the token that you take that supports your interpretation of what happened here and its mark on the appropriate track. Is this a token of faithfulness? You are closer to proving that your trust in your husband is well placed. Or is it a token of disloyalty, showing that you know that Bluebeard is responsible for her fate?
How gross is it to take one of those dead birds?
They're very small and bloody.
You should take the non-dead one.
It's-
Well, you
Or
know what
the-
I
You
mean.
can take a,
the
if you're talking
embalmed
about
one.
the object that is a token. You can
Right.
take a feather. So
That sounds way less gross.
So it's not like you're marching around the house
Hey, guys.
yeah, with a dead baby bird.
No, I think I'll take a feather, and I think I'm gonna do faithfulness on this one. Because even though I said that he's wanting her to have a child, I don't think that it was forced in a way that this is what became of her.
Okay. So we will take our marker and we will mark 1 token of faithfulness. Everyone will heal 1 trauma, which has not happened yet, but in a moment I was going to say, you take a trauma from the digging in your stomach. So you take a feather and she looks at you as you exit the room and she doesn't say anything, but the more you stare at her, the more her features become black and feathery. And as you shut the door behind, you just hear wings flapping.
I hate that.
Pass the ring to
Like,
a
I
sister.
think you both count for the shutter fear thing.
So now that an exit move has been done, we pass the ring.
Does it just go?
You can pass it to anyone that hasn't had the ring or hasn't had it in a while. Yeah, there is no rules for that. All right, Mother, the bride is now standing in the hallway holding a bloody, wet, black feather.
Gross.
I'm sorry, did everyone take a trauma from that and then heal it? Is that what happened?
Essentially, yes, but right now you guys are at no trauma, so
Got it.
yeah.
Well, I would like to continue our search for a bedroom.
As you look down at the key
hopefully
ring,
one that now has a bathroom.
Yes.
okay. So as you look down at the key ring, trying to find this key, what key catches your eye?
I think there's like a little dainty silver one, except the part where you actually hold the key, it's like a blue stone.
Okay.
So it's pretty.
Is the blue stone, is it a gem of sorts, or is it an earthen stone?
It's a gem.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got like the metal is like designed in swirls around it, kind of thing.
Is it a frail key, or does it look very sturdy?
It looks like it would be frail, but once you hold it, you can feel that it's actually pretty strong. And that
Deal.
It doesn't feel like it would break, kind of thing.
Okay. So as you're walking around, you're kind of holding this key, and you turn a corner, and you see a room that has a sort of base that spirals up and twists out and spirals, and every single end of sort of vine you see one of these blue gemstones. It almost looks like a garden's. When you put the key in, it turns, the door opens, you step forth, and the door shuts behind you. You step into a greenhouse. Rays of the setting sun turn emerald in the moist air. The air is still in here, yet you can hear the rustle of nature echo off the faded greenhouse window panes. Your kitten heels click delicately across the creaking wooden floor. Small potted plants take up most of the deck, leaving you room to step down a couple of stairs into a soft, rich soil. 2 long wooden tables hold hundreds of small potted plants. The strong smell of rot fills your senses, forcing your nose to crinkle. Just beyond the tables is a rusted tool shed. Opposite the shed is a delicate-looking bench standing on a dark patch of dirt.
I'm gonna kick my heels off because screw that in dirt.
Okay.
I also just realized we're still in a wedding dress. That's okay. And I want to walk around and look at the plants on the big wooden tables and see if anything sticks out.
Okay. So as you take your shoes off, I'm assuming you're carrying them now. I'm just going to leave them. And as you kind of step, your feet digging into the soft earth below, you look around and there's greens coming in from the light coming through the windows. And as you look at these flowers, they're beautiful blue flowers that almost shimmer. like emeralds. Or sorry, like sapphires. That's blue. Right. So you're looking at the potted plants. And as you look at them, they're very gorgeous. But the scent of rot, overwhelms you. The rank smell is coming from one of the small potted plants atop a long wooden table. You brush back the dirt of the tiny hand. You brush back the dirt, and the tiny hand of a fetus grabs your finger desperately. What do you do?
I keep digging in the dirt to see what I can pull out.
As you uncover more dirt, you see a half-dead fetus, flailing, eyes sewn shut.
Gross.
And as it goes to cry, dirt spills out of its lungs. And you see the other plants, potted plants, shifting nearby, rattling on the table.
Ew.
Is this baby a girl or a boy?
It's a boy. What do you do?
I'm not sure.
Now you are investigating an item. You can ask questions.
Yep, I want to do that.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Virgin?
Oh, I was just gonna talk about taking stock. Just because I don't like babies aren't a danger to me, but I think there is danger in the room. So, but go ahead and ask your questions first.
Yeah, so I'm investigating a mysterious object. I would like to say, whose item is this?
This item is... It is Bluebeard's, and it is someone else's.
And then my next question will be, why did Bluebeard keep this?
As you're looking down at this baby trapped, dirt spilling forth, you see fingers cresting out of the dirt in the other plants nearby. You hear a sort of rumbling in the shed nearby. And one of the plants falls over and crashes. The baby rolls and falls down to the ground, coughing, choking, spitting out dirt. And you see the shed doors open, and a tiny, frail woman hunched over, her face hidden by shadows, steps forward, walks over to the child, picks it up, and takes it back into the shed, and shuts the doors behind her.
Can I just go ahead and take stock and ask what horror here is hidden from the bride?
Sure. As you look around, you see that there were several vines on the greenhouse windows that have shifted and moved. Where they were once growing upwards, reaching towards the sun, they have since bent over, now on the ground, moving towards you. They're feet away. They're not moving, but you can tell they're yearning. What do you do?
Can I make a real bad decision and go to the shed?
Let's go to the
have
shed.
ring? Yeah.
Yep, that seems like the move.
So you go to the shed, and
Politely
you
knock on
open-
the door and see if they would like to
You're
answer.
gonna knock on the door. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. You knock on the door and you hear, "What is it?"
Can I come in?
Makes
Can't-
no difference to me.
Okay, I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. And as you open the door, there it's very dark in this room. Even the sunlight doesn't pierce that deeply into this room. The shed is much bigger on the inside than it appears on the outside. And you see this old crone sitting in a chair, rocking with this fetus in her arms. There's shelves. There's shelves on the side and there's shelves on the back. And on the side are tools for gardening. And on the back, there appears to be devices for sexual pleasure. What do you do? Do you talk to the crone? Or?
Yep, sure, let's go for that.
Okay.
Can I help you? Who are you?
So she looks up at you, and where her eyes should be
Oh.
is nothing, except for what appears to be clumps of dirt.
That's gross.
And as she looks up at you, are you shivering in fear?
Probably, because that's gross and I hate eyeballs with passion.
Deal. So let's take a look at quivering from fear.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
When you shiver from fear, name the thing you're most afraid will happen. The groundskeeper will tell you how it's worse than you feared. Keep the ring and choose 2, or pass the ring and choose 1. And also, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably just choosing 1.
Great.
So you know, but we'll get to that.
What are you afraid is happening?
In this situation, I would probably most afraid of someone getting buried, of myself getting like buried alive or shoved in a potted plant.
Deal.
There's some big pots.
Deal. So as you're staring at her, seeing almost in a moment you buried under the earth,
Yeah.
you feel something caress your ankle,
Great. That's so stupid vines.
and it starts to bind your ankle, and then your other foot, and then your hands,
Awesome.
and you feel thorns dragging across your wrists and ankles. Take 1 trauma.
Okay.
So that's at the bottom of your
Oh, yeah,
mother
it is.
sheet.
Yep.
And so is that for everybody or just
This
So that's
is yours
just for
now.
her.
Yeah, no, there's a lovely one that says it speaks to you. Take 1 trauma, just you.
So, and as you're struggling against these vines, it's pulling your arms and legs out. As it drags you down to the ground, you feel the dirt on your back, the back of your neck, the back of your shoulders and arms.
Fun.
You feel like it wants to drag you into the earth. Then the vines start to wrap around you and bind you. And in a moment, you feel a vine on your inner thigh, reaching up, caressing you.
Okay.
Virgin, you now have the ring.
Yeah, I was like, it's all you. I can't do any of the ring moves anymore.
Boy, howdy.
What do you do? What I like about this game is that this shit is really crazy, and just you guys are always just like, okay.
Maybe if I flip this over.
Right? Okay. Now does it say something about vines?
Yeah.
Nope. What about now?
Yeah.
I think we have, like, it can't be us that this happens to.
You just hear the soft wooden rocking of the crone. You hear soft gasping over your shoulder, dirt spilling to the table,
Oh, God.
the vines twisting,
Yeah.
dragging their thorns across your legs, across your arms, caressing the bride's breasts and threatening to enter her. What do you do?
I think I'm going to give in a little bit. There's a small amount of like of curiosity and of a feeling I've never felt before. Even though it's in this horrible situation, I'm going to give in a little.
Okay, I'm assuming you're caressing a horror?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear what caressing a horror sounds like, or what it reads.
When you caress a horror, you roll plus blood. On a hit, the horror is swayed by your stroke, and direct what was intended for you to another victim in the house.
Okay.
On a 7 to 9, it will shift its attention, but there's...
Yeah, alright, go ahead and roll plus blood, I believe. And we'll figure out what happens after that.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
That's a 3, my friend.
Jesus. Deal. So, as you feel flush with anticipation and almost, is it excitement?
A little bit. A lot of curiosity.
You feel the thorns drag and scrape as they enter. Take 2 trauma.
That sounds right.
And as you clench your jaw and eyes with pain, you feel someone standing over you. And as you open your eyes, feeling broken, changed somehow, you see this young, beautiful man. He almost looks like Tim. He has an axe, and he begins cutting these vines. And he cuts the ones binding your arm, and binding your other arm, and binding your leg, and then your other leg. And the vines begin to writhe in pain. But the one that was on your leg, twisting up, continues to push in until everything that was cut has disappeared out of sight. Deep within you. Now this is a ring move, so you will have to pass the ring to some other unfortunate soul. It can go to either the mother or the Animus.
Oh, can it?
Yep,
Well,
absolutely.
I guess I touched it, so it's mine now. Yay! Oh, good golly.
This man stands over you, and he says, "Those vines are wicked.
Just a lot.
There's one inside of you now. We're going to have to cut you open to get it out." And he holds the axe and kind of gestures towards your stomach.
I mean, that doesn't seem like the best thing to do.
I don't like that plant.
I don't like it at all.
And the crone peeks out from behind you, from behind him, and says, "I could dig it out."
Boy.
And she reaches up and she has hands covered in dirt with fingernails inches long.
I like neither of these plants.
Oh, God. Okay.
What do you do?
I don't know how to get out of this, so I'm going to take a second just to figure out what I need to do. Oh, like crying out for help isn't going to do much because I still have something inside of me.
I think they're offering help. So
I
crying
know
out for
they
help
are.
doesn't get you anywhere.
I can't get another person to give me a better...
Someone without dirt eyes.
Dirt eyes, please.
Claw hand.
Oh, no.
You feel something moving inside of you, cutting your insides.
Gross. Can I take stock of the situation? Not that I know this question is going to get us anywhere, but it doesn't hurt to try. Can I ask, what does this place demand of the bride? That's preferably not cutting me up.
Yeah. You... So you, as you kind of collect yourself and rise to your feet, feeling this thing cutting inside of you in a way that was not possible, you look around and everything that you see is dark and twisted and perverted in some sorts. And in a way, when you entered the room, it was hot and humid and it just smelt of death and decay, but now it smells a smell that you knew of intimacy and something more, something horrid.
So we're all in agreement that it needs to come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need anybody else, Animus? Or can we take care of this ourselves? Can we dig it out ourselves?
Oh, good lord.
There are tools.
There are
shed.
tools. Okay. Can I try to use one of the tools myself? Like, will they let me do that?
Yeah. As you
Axeman and
so
Axeman and
as you're
Dirt Eyes.
standing there, they are standing between you and the shed. So what would you say to them to get past them or to decline their invitations?
I'm gonna say to them, I agree that this needs to come out of me, but I don't want either of you touching me, and I need to do it myself. And I get up and I try to go past them.
So as you definitely walk past them, but you feel the younger man grab your wrist and he says, "Lady, I'm an expert in this.
How are you an expert in this?
I've gotten many vines out."
How many people have been here?
You realize that there's about a dozen plus potted plants. And you answer your own question.
no, thank you, sir.
Hey, no thanks. I try to take his hand off of me and I still try to continue to the shed.
Deal. So you get to the shed as the old crone is breathing heavy on your neck. And as you're staring at this wall of things that you have no idea what they do, as you reach for one item, the crone goes, "No, not that one." And you reach for another and she goes, "That one will hurt even more."
Do you have a suggestion?
And she just puts this clawed hand and she goes, "We coerce it out." And she begins to rub your belly with her claws, scraping gently against your wedding dress.
Let her do it.
Yeah, I think that, like, if I'm shivering from fear right now, my worst fear is I have to have someone help me. Is that I can't get it out myself.
Deal. So, what do you say?
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
So, what are your expectations? With not going into detail, obviously.
Like, this is the grossest thing ever. Like, there's something inside of me, and it needs to come out, and I don't know how to fix it, and my options are, dude, cut me open,
Yeah.
or this gross dirt lady.
Mm-hmm. She reaches over and grabs a jar of dirt mixed with sand, and she starts opening it. And she reaches in her clawed hand, and she takes out a handful, and she shoves it into your mouth.
Ew.
What? I mean, listen, I'll take that.
And you start coughing as you're trying to choke down this dirt. And it tastes like ash.
We're eating dead people.
And as you swallow it down, you feel a terrible pain in your stomach. I'm going to have you take 2 trauma.
Yep.
As the vine rips out of your belly button, out of your navel, and through your dress, and falls to the ground, wiggling. But there's a large husk in the middle with arms and legs. But it's within the vine. It's almost silhouetted by the green vine. And the man with the axe cuts the vine in half. The old crone picks up the vine, dripping green and black, and scoops up an empty jar and starts collecting the liquid, draining
I do not even know how to react to this.
Are you shivering from fear?
I already did.
Okay. You can also just give up the ring too if you don't want to deal with this nonsense. But there is.
Boy,
I do remember. I do want to remind you guys that obviously there is opportunities to propose a truth when you feel like you have a good handle for what's going on in the
and
room.
I do not. Do either of you two?
The only thing I can think of, because you asked if it was a boy or a girl, the only thing I can think of is that they're all boys, but I have no idea.
See, I guess that makes sense. I was thinking that, like, maybe Bluebeard wanted an heir and wasn't getting one, so was killing the women.
Yeah.
But maybe he doesn't want anyone to challenge his...
Yeah.
Which one of you guys do you think can get us out of this?
Does he want kids?
So also, as you take 2 trauma, you have to pass the ring. I did
Yes.
forget about that.
Yeah,
So,
I knew I had to pass the
Okay,
ring. It
do it.
wasn't this. It was either
Yeah.
it was because I shivered from fear or I took trauma. Either way, this ring isn't mine anymore. But I want to give it to the one that I think can get us out of this.
I have no idea.
Virgin, do you want it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With open arms, take it. So the last thing that happened was him, or she.
She's draining it.
She's draining
into
it. Yep.
Okay.
And she looks at her shelf and she's arranging it and she puts it on the shelf next to other assortments of vials of liquid. She turns and stares at you with her earthen eyes. And she says, "Thank you. He will be pleased.
Who's he?
The master.
Bluebeard?
He loves collecting things."
Have you cared for Bluebeard's children?
Yes and no.
Do you care for the greenhouse? Is that your job?
Yes. I must get back to work. The babies, they need their water.
Okay. Let's go back out into the greenhouse.
Get out of that shed.
And you see her pick up like a water bucket and she just starts pouring water until the pots overflow and you can hear things choking
Yeah.
in the pots.
I'd like to...
Not be here.
I'd like to go, please. No,
Goodbye, thank you.
I would like to examine some more pots. More babies.
Can I, so, it aliened us. Are we good?
Your stomach hurts incredibly, but there is blood, but there is no gaping hole.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Okay. I would like to look at no more than 5 pots of baby.
Okay.
And I would like to know their genders.
Okay. As you look at the pots, you can tell that they are all boys. As you dig up their bodies and see the babies
Okay.
choking up dirt, and
That's
even
the only...
pots that she's poured water into, you see mud.
I am
coming
proposing a truth.
I am getting us out of here. That's the best one I can think of anyway.
I think what happened in this room is that Bluebeard is a prideful man, and he does not keep anyone around him that cannot be easily overtaken. I think that he is afraid of anyone being stronger or more powerful or richer than him, and I think that he kills any of his offspring that are male. And I am taking...
That sounds real faithful, right?
Does that sound super painful?
Yeah.
That's what I was going for. I'm going to take a leaf from one of the vines.
One of the like a blue rose petal.
Oh yeah, that's good. blue for the room, and it is disloyal.
Okay. Go ahead and mark it, and as you pluck one of these petals from these plants, holding your stomach still horrified, you exit the room as the crone rocks in her chair in the shed, and the man with the axe cuts more vines down. The door shuts behind you, and you find yourself in the hall. You'll pass the ring to another sister.
We all take a trauma, right?
Yep, you all take one trauma.
Oh boy.
Oh boy!
Uh-oh.
Animus, you're gonna go ahead and get it because Mother did the room last time.
I know.
And-
Again, Animus did the room before that.
As you step out into the hallway,
You're just like, wow, that was gross.
But, Animus, you passed it to me.
Mm-hmm.
She's immune to trauma, right?
Was that a give up or was that a shiver from fear?
it was just from taking trauma. Anytime you take trauma as the bride.
So no, because she only doesn't take it if she gave it up.
If you voluntarily give up the ring as a ring move,
Okay.
yeah, then you're immune
So
to
I'm
trauma.
still looking
So
pretty
you're still at 3 out of
rough.
5, yeah. All right, and with us exiting the second room, we will call that part 2 of Bluebeard's Bride. We will be back soon with another episode.
Fucking gross, dude.
Although I did enjoy no more than 5 pots of
More than
baby.
5 pots, please.
5 pots of baby.
I can't do another one.
Anyways, yikes.
Yeah, you did a great job.
just when Feef is just like,
No, I hope none of your viewers wanted to see our faces because like
Bro.